This is Jason Warbucks.
This is Lenny. This is Shenny.
This is your boy Steven, and you're now tuned into
the Perspicax.
What's going on, my lovely listeners, my lovely peeps? Yo, honestly, the NBA is back, and well, when you guys watch this video, you'll see we're all out here repping jerseys. Big up the Raptors, Cavs, the Lakers, and what? Golden State, Shenny? Golden State.
3.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. So shout out to sports coming back in because everyone's been waiting. So yes, and I wanted to give a big shout out this week to a podcast that made a big connection with us this week. So the podcast is called Honey and the Monster. So it's pretty much run by Rich and Nana. It's an uncut podcast. So the Honey and the Monster is a raw and real podcast where they talk about whatever, wherever, and whoever. And every Wednesday at 5 p.m. they have new episodes. So slide over to Anchor, slide over to Spotify. Give them a listen up because that was a big connection this week, and I appreciate that all the way. And, shout out our listeners again because every week we look at the analytics. It's it's eye opening and gratifying and appreciative. So I'm loving it. I'm loving the vibes. How about you guys?
Shout out my 9% in Ireland. We went up, baby. We went up, baby. We're there.
You guys are hilarious.
Yeah,
We see
shout out
you, US of A. We see you
Yes.
out here listening.
Mhm.
Yes. Boulder, Colorado. What's up?
Yeah, Florida, Florida. I had to Google where that was today, but shout out our listeners all over the world, man. Not just U.S. and Canada. We're doing something well. So let's keep it running, guys. What do you guys say? Let's keep it flowing, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the vibes up, man. I love it.
We don't have the copyrights.
Oh yeah, that's
No
right.
copyrights.
Yeah, stop that.
Hey.
We don't have the copyrights.
Excuse me, miss. You have to stop that. You have to stop that right now.
I do apologize, sir.
Yes, you have to be very nice with that. You
All good.
can't, okay?
Oh,
What did Dexter Dab say? Let the energy flow like a river, man. Just let the energy flow.
Oh, choreography.
Hey.
You guys gotta watch the videos. There's choreography right
you
now.
guys are missing it.
If you keep this up,
Nah, yeah, must. If you guys are listening, make sure you listen right through and come back and watch on YouTube because you're missing the vibes and the entertainment visually. But to jump into this week, this week was a different week for us. We sat down, we're like, I mean, where are we gonna come back after last week with the entanglement topic? How are we gonna come back and bounce back? And we had a good talk, and I don't know, Lenise came up with something. I'm gonna let her shoot it off because honestly it was topped off with her idea, but we came through and said, let's get this going.
So this week's episode topic is code switching. So for those of you who don't know what code switching is, as always, we come in with our definitions. So here is a definition from Encyclopedia Britannica. They sound smart. They're a good source. Yay. 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 So here's code switching. It is the process of shifting from one linguistic language or dialect to another, depending on the social conversational setting. So it can be switching back and forth between languages, between dialects, between different forms of slang based on the context that you're in. All right, so it's not just like, oh, I talk about different topics with my best friend than the topics I talk about with my boss. Like everybody has to do that. But when we're talking about code switching, there's a lot more cultural nuance to it. So we're going to be diving into that. I'm super excited. Should we tell them how we got to that point?
Yeah, I feel like we should. That's a key component. So because they're probably like thinking like, code switch. Some people are probably like, what is code? You know what I mean? Like, why would you guys even think about this stuff? We experienced it.
We hit them with an encyclopedia version. I think some people are still trying to dissect what that meant because I'm sitting here like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were chatting. We chat a lot, but we were chatting off the podcast, and something came up about like hearing our parents talk on phone calls when we were younger. So for all of us, we're 4 young Black people who live in Toronto, and our families are from different countries. So growing up, you like hear your parents talk one way to you and one way in the house. And then we all had the same experience of one day like hearing them on the phone and being like, wait a second. Why? Who
That's not
Who's
my
this?
mom.
who is this person? Like,
Oh
who
God,
came
I'm in
in?
trouble.
Who snatched your voice? Like, who? What? So then you realize,
Yeah.
like, okay, so mom or dad talks like this on the phone whenever they're talking to these people. And then we kind of realize, like, you know, we're surprised. And then we realize, like, all right, so one way of talking is better than another way of talking. One way is considered more quote unquote professional than another way. Like, and you kind of have to figure out as a kid, even, why is it that the adults talk one way in one setting and talk another way in another setting? So that's kind of how code switching came up, because now we have to do it ourselves as young adults.
And not everyone's gonna understand if we don't code switch in this podcast right now. Big facts. You know what I mean? If we were to go ahead and talk how we regularly
I
talk
think
to each
they'd be
other,
confused.
some of our viewers wouldn't be able to understand where we're coming from. Unfortunately not.
You gonna learn today, though.
So yeah, I wanted to jump
I
into
said they're gonna learn today.
Say it again.
They're gonna learn today.
They definitely would. So in that essence, so why do you think people would need to? Like, we got a definition. We all have different different avenues in our life that we're at. Yeah, my dad's Jamaican. Son, he's an accountant. So like I said, I was born in Jamaica. So hearing him on the phone talk to other people, it's just like it's actually hilarious sometimes. So I'm thinking like, yo, this guy's actually switching up his whole steez, his whole style right now to just, finesse whoever's on the phone. Not finesse, but like, yo, to communicate to whoever's on the phone. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, it is necessary, because some people might not know this, but like, if you ever had a conversation with a Jamaican, like there's some Jamaicans that will talk really fast and the accent's strong, or there's some that talk slow and you're just like, yo, the accent's still strong. So you're like, yo, what the hell? Like, how am I even gonna, you know what I mean? How am I gonna break this down? So, yo, my dad, when this guy gets in a mood, bro, this man, it's fast. So I remember in high school, I was driving home with one of my boys, and yo, my dad was legit having a conversation with my boy. My boy's sitting back there just cool. I'm like, yo, bro, that's talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, yo, my dad is talking to you, bro. He's like, oh shit, yeah. I'm like, I have to repeat what my dad said, and code switch it up for him. I'm like, yo, so in your essence, like, yo, why do you feel like we would need to code switch, or society, people in society would need to code switch? That'd be like my question.
I mean, for myself, like I can give it a personal for myself. It's different. Like I'm currently with COVID-19 going from home, and sometimes like I have my siblings here and I'll be talking with them, and then like my phone go off and I have to go on my work call, and like the professionalism voice comes on. It's like, hi, how are you doing today? I'm glad to assist you. Yes, no, not a problem. Nothing wrong with that. And and then I get off the phone and I'm like, yeah, as we were saying. They're like, what? They're like, why did you do that? And I feel like we've been trained and conditioned. Like you said, we watched our parents do it. So now we're trained and conditioned that when we're in a workforce environment, that's the voice we have to use. Because if we use anything else, it's going to get lost in translation, so to speak.
That to stop you before you even touch the workplace, like in our everyday life. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you wouldn't be it might sound rough, but you wouldn't be running up on a Karen and talking all slang, and you know what I mean? Like you'd have to talk properly for her to understand, like, yo, because at the end of the day, you want that community, you want that understanding. You know what I mean? So everyday life, I feel like 100%, and in the work situation as well, it's definitely needed to happen. My bad for cutting you off, but I didn't want to just say like it would only happen in the workplace, because at the end of the day, like in our everyday life,
we're code switching on this podcast right now, because as you said in the beginning, we were cracking beer. See, look at that. I mean, I just switched right now. We're cracking so many jokes. You see?
A plethora of jokes were made.
A plethora.
My NASA, yo, let me say plethora.
Throughout this podcast,
Yo.
we're giving you a lot of examples of code switching.
Heavy.
Yes, a plethora
Yeah,
of
for
examples, as we learned. And
Yeah, Warbucks. I know you're in that community. Well, you're in that customer service field like daily. So, like, what do you feel? What do you feel? Why would we need
because some people can't. When keeping it real can go very wrong sometimes. When keeping it real can go very wrong. If I'm gonna talk to you, Steven, like, yo, we're gonna link, we're gonna shoot the thing, we're gonna talk the podcast, we got beer jokes. I can't talk like that to a customer. I have to be like, hey, how's it going? Oh, yes, I can certainly help you with this. Oh, you're upset? I'm so sorry. I apologize. Man, fuck that. Pardon my French, but
you're speaking different languages now.
oh no, it's a family
Y'all
podcast.
gotta watch the video. Y'all need to see this footage. You need to see the footage.
Oh, see, but then you have to code switch because I could be here talking about, yeah, I hit her up. Yeah, I slept with her. Oh, hold on. Hi, this is Mr. Williams. How can I help you with? Yes, that's good. You can't talk to everybody with the same wavelength. You can't, because some people will look at you sideways. And society right now, if they look at you and you talk away like that, they're gonna think you're uneducated, uncouthed. They're going to think that you have no products. Yeah,
disrespectful.
Or you're very disrespectful.
Or you're disrespectful.
And it's weird when they look at Black people. We are the kings and queens of switching it up. We gotta code switch every time.
Facts.
Because we are one way. We're one way in the light and one way in the dark.
True words.
That's it. That is so true. 100%. 100%. Yo, Warbucks, the way you break down some things sometimes, bro, I don't even know if I can say anything after that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, when someone says something so real, it's like, yo, how do you even follow that up? You know what I mean? Like, but now, Warbucks.
Warbucks passing the ball. Passing the ball. It was interesting. I was looking at this HR, like human resources account, and they were talking about code switching. It was super interesting. So it's on Instagram, it's at HR Uprise. And they had this quote. They said, marginalized groups have to put on a different persona just to be accepted in the workplace. So sometimes it's not even just like how you speak or the words that you choose. It's like a whole different personality, like how you are in the workplace and how you are outside of the workplace in every setting. So it's like you have to make yourself more palatable. Does that make sense? Like
it does.
Right? Like you have to like tone yourself down. You have to change your hair for a lot of us, females and males too. Like you have to change your hair. You have to change your way of communicating, but it's all to make the dominant group more comfortable. Take that in.
That's true.
I think that's
that is so true.
Like
that is
right. Like if you really just walked in completely 100% your authentic self, and yes, being professional, you're at work, we get that. But even just being your fully authentic self, there's still people who will just be so uncomfortable with that.
So
for
like,
what reason? I don't know.
I kind of want to drop a gem question in. Do you think that we code switch because of professionalism and I guess having somebody understand us, or do we code switch due to obligation? Obligated to code switch.
Professionalism.
Yours is professionalism?
I think so.
I feel like it's not. I wouldn't say obligation, but I say personally, I do it. Well, let's just come from the jump. When I moved here, they put me in ESL. So I had to pretty much adapt to you know what I mean? Like I didn't think ESL was that serious. I didn't think I was speaking not English. You know what I mean? Until they put me in the class with people that couldn't speak English. So I was like, all right. From then, growing up, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna have to do this so that people can understand where I'm coming from. I mean, the people that aren't Jamaican or aren't African American or Black or aren't in the same society class that I'm in is not gonna understand where I'm coming from and if I'm just my regular self, slang talking like I'm
Mhm.
talking in this podcast with you guys. So I feel like I wouldn't say obligation, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to do something in life and you're trying to get further, obviously you're gonna want to adapt and do what you need to do to get there. It's not saying like, yo, you're code switching to hinder yourself or like for someone else, but I say I'm code switching because I know I can and I know the benefits of it
Right.
going forward. You know what I mean? How
Fam,
about
I
you?
need to jump on that so quickly because you know how many people, like immigrant youth and kids, get thrown in ESL. Like you moved here from a country whose first language is English. Like
Wait, guys, for our
you
listeners,
English
what
is
is
Thank you.
ESL?
English as a
English
second language.
There you go. For our
English as a
listeners.
second language classes. So you came here from a country whose first language is English, and like the Queen's English, very proper English. For anyone who's had like Caribbean education, you know that a lot of Caribbeans
Yeah.
have better English skills than people who speak English here in North America,
Yep.
straight up. So for them to be like, oh no, he's here from Jamaica, he has an accent, we're gonna throw him in ESL because clearly his English isn't good. Like that's a whole, like, talk about school system, that's a whole other podcast. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you know,
Nah, facts. Yo, that's how I felt. Yo, Lenny, I was legit in a class with people that like couldn't speak English. Listen to me, like legit, like eat like Cantonese, like there are people speaking Mandarin, like legit couldn't speak English, brother. Like you know what I mean? I'm thinking like, yo, there's something wrong with me.
Mhm.
Like you know what I mean? Like what? Like what are you guys? What am I saying to you guys that you're not understanding? But yo, from you, that was grade 5, brother. So like from then, it's just like people, everyone come up to me, yo, what happened to your accent, yo? Man had to come adapt. And you know what I mean? Like they had to come, man. I had to come through and make sure people understanding where I'm coming from, not try to look disrespectful or downplay anyone's thought of how I am. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's me. So everybody's different. You guys can have different output on it, outlooks on it.
I want to say something. I think one of the biggest code switchers, which it's not really intentional now, but who I think biggest code switcher are parents right now. And by that I mean by giving their children's name. Because
Oh.
when it's hard, because when they look at a resume and they see Jason, who knows what to expect. If they look and they see Christopher and they see Andre, they're gonna be like, oh, Andre's probably white, or Christopher's probably white. And look at Andre's not white, so we're not going to hire him. So what a lot of parents are doing, and I know a lot of people I know are doing it, they're giving their kids basically traditional names to help them get a job in the future. So they're, in a sense, they're doing basically, they're teaching it from birth. The pre-culturing, yes.
They're pre-code
because
switching.
you're like, I'm scared of my child not. My friends even said it to me before too. They're like, I'm scared of my child not getting a job in the future, so I don't want to name her Shaniqua. I'm going to name her Sharon. So in hopes in the future she can get a job that's going to be in her career. Which I'm like, you don't have to do that. You name your child what you want. Name your child something powerful. They should fear your child. Your child should not fear them.
Exactly.
So you don't have to 100%. Give them the switch like that. But a lot of them are
and that's the thing too. Like, and that's why it's so proper that we kind of had that definition, because people could be taking a negative outlook on code switching. You know what I mean? Like you think of like, yo, I'm code. Like, damn, I'm gonna need to code, or yo, I'm gonna have to code switch to do this, or I'm gonna have to do that. At the end of the day, you don't have to do anything like you just said, but like, if you know what you want and you know where life is gonna go for you, and you know what you want from your life, you're gonna do certain things for yourself. You know what I mean? For yourself. So I'm saying it has to be for anybody else. Legit, at the end of the day, you came in this world, you can do what you want. You know what I mean? But that's me.
Yeah.
But
I feel like even just to, I was just gonna go back to Shenny's question of like, do we do it for professionalism, understanding, obligation? I feel like there's a difference. Like obviously, if it's just an issue of understanding, like say for example, I was bilingual, I spoke Spanish and English, and I know that the person in front of me only speaks English, then all right, I'm not gonna try to explain myself in Spanish because I know that they can't. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if it's just like a sense of being professional, I think the issue becomes what is professional, you know, in our society are taken from the standard of like the majority or the dominant group, and things that are different are just deemed like, I think going around recently, there was like this picture, it was like a Google image searches, and it was like professional haircuts for men, and it was all white guys with the like most popular
my
haircut in the
God.
world. And then it was like unprofessional haircuts for men, and it was all like black guys in suits with like nice haircuts, but they were all black. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
Well, sorry that my hair's faded, but I can't get a comb like you, Johnny.
Nah,
No
definitely
comb
not.
over. Sorry, Johnny.
No
So my
comb
hair's
overs, brother.
professional as can get. If I want to come in with like dreads down to my behind, that's how I feel.
See,
You don't
but
got
like we
to-
shouldn't be deemed
Facts.
like
Have them swinging
our
like
hair shouldn't deem professionalism. And then, as you said, when it's like it's professionalism, and who deems professionalism? Because as you said, we learned the Queen's English back in Jamaica, which is my background as well, is Jamaican, and we learned the Queen's English. That's again the most proper English you can get. But then when it's broken down, it's then deemed as you should be an ESL. You're not speaking proper English. So who defines this professionalism guide that we feel that we have to code switch to fit in? Why can't we be ourselves? Why can't we enter in, as you said, with our hair, dread style or anything? Why can't we enter in like that and be speaking to people the way we would conduct ourselves? As long as, again, I feel like we shouldn't always have to code switch into other people's definition of professionalism to be able to be ourselves, authentically ourselves, and just add respect to it and be able to still pull a job, not by the definition of our name.
I'm coming through with my dreads. My dreads are coming through and they swanging. I might be wearing a suit and a button up, but the dreads are swanging.
I will be your hype man behind you if they say anything. Trust me.
Fact.
Right?
That'd be a
like,
sick
who
look
stop it?
regardless. Nah, that'd be a sick look.
What?
The
Yo,
dreads
yo,
in the
you
suit.
don't even know.
What?
Yo,
I will
I'll
be
be a
your hype
security
man.
guard, yo.
Be like, ma'am, this isn't a group interview.
Oh, it is now.
You're gonna learn today.
I'm in this now, believe me.
Don't kill me.
Like,
But yo, Shenny, to go back onto your question on like who's deeming this all like professional, honestly that's a good question. And that honestly I would say like it would tie back into like where we're going, like how earlier I was saying we only don't do it in the workplace, but we also do it in our personal life as well. But heading over to that corporate and to that workplace side, do you find that people at the top of corporations do not feel the need to code switch, whereas like us little people that were working for them,
Yes.
that we have to?
Because they feel they are the ones in power. They don't have to. They want to accommodate, but they don't want to seem like they're out of place. We will talk amongst our coworkers because we grow accustomed to them. So we will talk to them in a way, but also we have to be careful of what we say around some other people, because you could be cool and slack with one person, but the other person, if it's a Karen, you can't be like, yo, what up, my Karen? No. You got to be like, hey, how's it going? How was yoga? Was it good? Did you get some muffins today? That's great.
why muffins?
Because Karens love muffins.
Why yoga?
Because
like
Karens
I said,
love
you guys be
yoga.
watching this video. Code switching has a lot to do with your posture. Code switching has a lot to do with the posture
Because
as well.
I'm going to turn around, and Steven, if me and you, I'm like, yo, you good? What you feeling like? Yo, let's have oxtail. You want some? I'm not going to turn to Karen like that. Karen be like, the tail of an ox?
Nah.
That sounds exotic. You're right, Karen, it is.
Wow.
You're right, Karen. That's exotic and amazing. You have to have a certain tone when you coach with people, because it makes them feel comfortable and not threatened by you. Because if you talk a certain way
exactly
in your code switching, they can feel instantly threatened by it. So most of them will come, and we all have had it again with the voice. Oh my God, her knees high. I love your hair. What did you do?
Can I touch it? They're already touching it.
Can I touch it? Can I judo flip you?
Yeah.
Wow, the man judo flip right away.
Touch your hair. Can I judo flip you then? Because my hair is not a petting zoo.
From 0 to 100, yo.
But that's the thing. When you don't feel uncomfortable, you kind of have to be like, oh, sure, no, you can't touch it, but you have to be that whole uppity, happy, like everything is mayonnaise type of feel. So you have to be so happy with it, but it's just the way we have to exchange things, because we come and we just grunt. How you feeling? They're gonna think we're uncouth.
$4. I'm not your friend, eh? Did you say everything is mayonnaise?
Facts.
Did you say everything is mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise.
I'm rolling. I'm upset.
Yo. Oh my gosh, yo.
Y'all know why I'm here.
Oh man, yo, Shenny, what do you think? Do you feel like the people at the top should feel? Do you find the people at the top of the corporation need to code switch, whereas the little people, need to?
I personally experienced this where the majority of my jobs that I've ever been, I've been in management. And when management gets together in a group setting, it's completely different than when they're on the floor talking with, I want to say, the employees, right? It's completely different, because when you have like a manager one-on-one, or you have the CEO, your conversations after the meeting is over, they turn into, hey, so what are you doing after work? How's this and how's that? And they feel so comfortable being able to just communicate with you on a level that they would naturally, and they don't need that breakdown of the hierarchy of power at that point. It's just like, hey, we're both on neutral ground, which is interesting, because that's literally only done on an upper management level, like when they're getting together, when you're having meeting, when you're having conversations. But in front of everybody else, it's like, oh, you didn't speak to me in the appropriate way, when 2 seconds ago we were literally just shooting the shots there 2 seconds ago, and then now it's like I said something a little off, or not fully, I guess, professional, so to speak, and then I get in trouble. So I think there's a complete level difference in the hierarchy scale.
Yo, Shenny,
100%. 100.
That is such a good point. In corporate, like, top level sets the culture. Like, however they act sets the culture for the whole workplace, right? So in some places, there's like managers or top management that's making like horrible jokes, saying stuff they should never say, treating their workers really badly. And they just set this like really weird workplace culture, but they can get away with it because they're the bosses. Whereas like the employees, if they made those same jokes, or like hop on the bandwagon because they're trying to like impress their bosses and be all buddy with them, like, they could get reprimanded for it. It could just blow up in their face. Like, like one of my good friends has a boss who has made like really bad jokes, just not funny jokes. But like, he still works there. He still has his job because like he's a higher up. He gets away with it, you know? I've had a boss. Now, I've had plenty of jobs, so this won't identify anyone. I've had a boss where the boundaries were just like not there. I'm talking like I was still in training, and I'm like, I don't need to know these things about your life with you and your husband. Like, I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend. Like, I've worked here for 2 days, and my ears, I need to scrub my brain. I need that machine from Men in Black, you know, when they hold it up in front of your eyes. This stuff. So in that job, I was like, nah, I'm not breaking my own boundaries just because the boss did, because me and the boss don't have the same amount of power. And if I say something out of the side of my neck, I'm the one who's going to get fired. She's not going to fire herself. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Nah, that's key right there. 100%. That's key right there. Because at the end of the day, like they wouldn't feel like they need to code switch. You know what I mean? Like they're thinking like, all right, this is the standards I'm setting for my company.
Get out.
You're not with it. Your number, yeah, you're a number. Like we're on
Your
to the
services
next.
are no
You know
longer
what I mean?
required.
So that's definitely
Wow.
Your services are no longer required.
services are.
Goodbye.
You are the
We're going
weakest
in a
link.
different
Goodbye.
direction.
Yeah. We feel that we need a stronger pull for the company. Yo, you were the one yesterday laughing about her skirt, joking with me about it. How am I in trouble? You're coming with me then.
Right? I know it's a problem.
Yeah, now you want to come
No way
with
I
me.
get fired.
Oh,
Don't
hey.
kill me.
Cool. Because it's the same one.
Okay, I got a question for you guys.
Hit us.
How do you think that the need to code switch or the perceived need to code switch affects other young minorities? And like, do you think it affects some ethnicities different from others? How does this affect us as young people?
Hmm.
Let me hear from Sir Stephen first.
Ooh, receive it.
Yeah,
Sir Steven, serve, please.
Honestly, like I was saying earlier on, I wouldn't say it would affect. Like I wouldn't say affect on a bad sense, because at the end of the day, like we were saying, like personally, I have a lot of things that like I want to get my hands into. You know what I mean? And I know that it's not only going to be Black owned, or it's not only going to be African Americans that are with it. You know what I mean? So like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, code switching is necessary. So I'm incorporating it. I'm incorporating it in my everyday life. So I wouldn't say it would be an effect, but I can see how it would affect like other younger people that wouldn't like say boom are entitled right now. Say boom, I'm gonna talk this way because this is me. You know what I mean? To have that entitlement, say, oh, I'm not gonna switch how I talk for anybody, or I'm not gonna do this because this is how I am. You know what I mean? But like I said, if you want to get somewhere else, you're gonna have to. It's gonna change. You're gonna have to adapt. Like we're young, we're growing. Like there's a lot of stuff that me personally, I know you guys that want to do. That we're not we're not subject to Canada. So like, I want to go out. I want to learn different languages. I'm gonna have to, you know what I mean, coach to learn different languages as well. So I wouldn't say affect in a bad way. I would say affect in a good way, because at the end of the day, you're learning different sides of the coin. Like, you know what I mean? You're learning how to be your way and how to get into the professional way. Like to be, all right, yo, boom, I can switch this on and off. Cool. I'm sick at it now. You know what I mean? Like, so to your second part of that question, do we think it affects other ethnicities? 100%. Because like I would know people that like per se like that are Indian, and like you guys know Indian accents are strong.
Yo,
like you know what I
they're
mean?
really
Like they're super strong, and
Ooh,
exactly, and especially when they're trying to talk English. I'm not like I have a lot of friends that I understand it. You know what I mean? So like it definitely hinders like on that end, because like if you personally don't have friends that are of that race or whatever, like that you can relate to, you're gonna look at it as like, yo, this guy doesn't know how to speak. Like what's wrong? You're in Canada. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, learn how to talk. You know what I mean? You look at it a whole different outlook. But that's like I see from both ends as well. Because like I said, I'm Jamaican and I have to switch it up regularly. But it's not like he said. Our first language is English, so it's not that hard to really transition. You know what I mean? So it's harder for people that speak Spanish or like something else is your first language, because you're still bringing that Spanish into your English, and it's harder to relate in that essence though. So that's my outlook on that.
Well, like for myself.
Warbucks, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. Go, Warbucks. Take it away.
No.
No, Shenny, go ahead.
I was saying for myself, I think affects like I think it affects all in I can't even speak ethnicities. Like you were saying, Indian accents are very strong sometimes to understand, but with the definition of code switching, it's also you can also speak another language to relate to some. So if you're trying to speak English and it's not working because somebody else is having a hard time understanding you, not that you're stating anything incorrectly, but just because it's getting lost in translation, then I think growing up when you're younger, it's probably easier for you to code switch a lot more because of the fact that it's easier to learn new languages when you're younger. So you can learn English and you can have your native tongue. You can learn several languages, so you can actually be more versatile when code switching. So I think from when you're younger, it's beneficial for you. But I think as we get older, we code switch in a way for more so understanding each other than actually code switching because of the need to feel like obligated to. As you said, we've code switched in this times. We code switch in general all the time. So that's just something that we do for the sake of doing it because it's so innate in us. And then I feel like for children, they just want to have an understanding of how to, so to speak, fit in, how to make sure that what their thought process is articulated and that we understand it when we're speaking with them. It affects them a lot more than it actually affects us as adults. That's my take.
I like that. I hear that. I'm agreeing with that as well.
Well, for myself, it basically comes to there's a time and place for everything. So when code switching, I feel, is useful, and it is something that's needed because you're not going to be loud and obnoxious at your job the same way you'd be loud and obnoxious with your friends. Our parents teaching us code switching from when we're younger is good because when we're kids, there's moments we're banging and we're making a bunch of noise and they're grabbing up our shirts or pinching us, telling us to be quiet. But as helping to nurture us in the future to say, you know what? Sometimes you just have to just keep quiet, say what you need to say in certain things. Don't be out of that. It's like perfect example of times, and it's happened to me speaking to the police. There's times where when they come, you just do what they say, you talk nice, you don't get out of hand. If you're there being loud, abrupt, obnoxious, ways that they don't like it, they're going to react in a way that might harm you or harm people that's with you. So being able to code switch and just cooperate at times, as long as they're being complacent as well, is something that helps. That it's something you need to build up and teach with. The same way if you're a customer service. Wait, Steven, you have something?
Yeah, I like that. I like that you brought that up, bro. Because that's like super key that some people wouldn't even have thought. Like, yo, especially with that police interaction, that could change. That's a big aspect right there. Because if you're gonna be out, they're looking at that like, all right, yo, what's wrong? Yeah, looking at how you're speaking,
and
like
how you're acting, how you're interacting with it, because all the other ethnicities. Sorry, I can't say the word.
Other what?
Huh?
Put me on the spot against you. Other people of color, me and you, eh? At least me and you. No, because you're not my friend. Remember, eh? I'm on a positive roll here. Give me a minute.
And I'm Raptors jersey.
Champion song.
Other ethnicity, other people of color. Jesus, Lord, my mouth today. Other people of color don't.
Yo, fam, we're not saying the Perspicax, ethnicity.
Look, all right. Before I had, I'm on a roll, man. I'm talking to you guys.
Tongue twist up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have to go through. This is why I have to code switch sometimes because these people put me on a spot, and then I have to go on mod. So this is code switching in its finest.
Yeah, facts. Sorry, Warbucks. You were saying as you were rudely interrupted.
Other people of color do not have to usually. They don't have to really code switch when it comes to talking to higher authorities, whether it be a police, a judge, a lawyer. They never really have to because maybe they don't have the understanding because it's like we said before, the language barrier. We don't really have to kind of sit there. They'll speak and maybe they'll be understood because they're not speaking the Queen's language fully like we would. But where we have to come and articulate our words, be precise, be on the point with it, is where it helps out. Semi-rant done.
Those are all facts. Yeah. Those are all facts. We just like to make fun of each other in the middle of it, but those are all like big facts. And I agree with you guys. Like I think one negative of the like need to code switch for young people is like almost devaluing your own forms of communication. Like I know some people who are like, oh yeah, no, I don't talk patois because like it's looked down on, or I don't use slang because oh, that's not a proper way to speak. When in reality, like it's just another form of communication, right? So I think it becomes a negative when you start to look at your own culture and your own language and your own background and see it as a negative. I think also, like you guys were saying, like sometimes it's literally life and death, right? If you're not able to just communicate and explain yourself in a way that the person who has power can understand and accept, then yeah, sometimes it's life or death, or you know, on a smaller scale, like losing opportunity, losing a job prospect, something like that, right? But yeah, obviously there are huge positives too, right? Like it helps us in our daily living, it helps us in business. We like it's how we navigate in and out of all the different settings. It really ends up helping us in the long run.
I feel like it's a skill. Like, what do you think? Like, it's becoming a skill. I feel like
for sure
I'm sick at it. I feel like I'm sick at it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like easily, like anybody I run upon, I can easily just interact with them just because I have it like that now. You know what I mean? And that's why I wouldn't like it. There's 100% positives in it. I feel like the positives outweigh the negatives in that essence. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking at it on a positive outlook, you could be like, yo, boom. Not to say it is another language, but you could be like, yo, boom. I'm speaking another language to these people. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, boom, I'm able to interact this way and interact with other people a certain way. So, yo, boom, I have another skill gained. Why not? So, it's definitely, I feel like the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. Negative-wise, I'd say the only negatives on that essence would be the people on the outside looking in, saying like, why are you talking like that? Or why would you feel you need to code switch? That would be the only, I feel like that would be the only.
Well,
and the language barrier. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry to cut you, Steven. Janet Holmes, she wrote a book called Social Linguistics, I believe back in 2000. So the book's like almost 20 years old. But in the book, it just talks about different as to why people code switch. And like she's like one of the references that she used was happening amongst three people. Two of them are Jamaican descent, and one of them wasn't. And they started speaking patois, and the little boy's just looking back at the person like, what did he say? And the other one's like, said, where are you going? And then he's like, oh, I'm going to my house. And the other was, so I'm Goyard. And then he's like, what did he say? And he's like, he's going to his house. So it was like, it was a funny thing to read, interaction. Yeah. And I realized something that, you know what, with code switching, especially in groups, it's kind of like giving power to people who feel powerless, because when you feel like there's something that's with in a group setting, you kind of feel less than. And when somebody's able to you more, especially during communication, then it gives you your power back. You know,
yeah.
So there's not always negatives with code switching. It's an adaptability trait, as you said, and we become so fluent in it that we don't even realize. Like I know, as we said many a times, even on this podcast, we've code switched, but I even know in our personal lives, we probably code switch all the time. I'm not going to talk to you guys the way I talk with my boss, or not even my boss, but the way I would talk with somebody on the street. You kind of have like
I'd say even
levels,
even through text.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of code switching through text.
Ooh. That's all. Yeah, I just thought about it too. I'm like, I know I know yachties right now that text me in patois. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you can't text anybody like that. You know what I mean? Like, so 100%.
Especially in WhatsApp.
Oh gosh.
Yo, and you for me, fam. I know I'm a countryman, a real countryman. That, you know what I mean? That, yeah, the man talks exactly how he texts. I know that couldn't run with anybody. If I gave the phone to somebody and say, yo, what is this man saying to me? Like, yo, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? So definitely verbally and text-wise, we're code switching daily, 100%.
That's a good point. Like, how many times have you been like writing a text to someone and you write it like one way and then you're like, wait, no,
Let me,
backspace.
The commas
right?
come out, the
Yeah.
semicolons,
No,
the
facts. Yo,
capitals,
zero punctuation. Yeah.
period, exclamation, one exclamation mark, one question
Yeah.
mark.
Using conjunctions and adjectives.
All using Grammarly to make sure that you edit the text that is correct when you press send.
Yo,
Make sure there's a header and a footer,
Right.
and you broke
You're
it,
making sure
and you have
making sure there's no red lines underneath the words, so your autocorrect is on point.
fam, put that through hooked on font. All of it.
Wow.
Make sure
Yo,
your
you're crazy
sources
you
are
said that.
correct.
I had hooked on phonics in Jamaica. Holy smokes, I'm old, bro.
And they
Ooh.
put you on in ESL. You see, I'm mad. I'm mad.
Ooh.
They put you in ESL and you had hooked on phonics?
Ooh.
Denise, when I was leaving Jamaica, I was about to go to high school. I came back, I had to go to grade 5.
Fam. See this foolishness? Like, they put people back like at least a grade, sometimes 2.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Are they still doing this? If any of you listeners who have like a family member or a family friend who recently migrated from the Caribbean, please like leave us a comment and let us know. Are they still doing this, or is this just like the past generation?
And then not even just Caribbean, anywhere.
Yeah.
You're right.
Come
Anywhere where English is already their first language and they're putting them in ESL, dropping them back grades. We would like to know.
And their education system is different. So, because at the end of the day, I guess, what do we start school here? 3 or something?
We
like,
start out 4, I believe.
4.
3 if you're a December baby.
Like,
yeah.
Yo, bro, as soon as you can walk and talk, bro, you're inside of school, dog. Soon, like, you know what I mean? Like, as soon, my aunt was my grade 1 teacher. Like, as soon.
I'm telling you, basic school in it's not a joke.
Yeah, it's not a joke. Trust me. But
before you go,
yo,
I was gonna say, does anyone remember in the early 2000s when like hip hop was getting big and the white people were kind of code switching with black people to fit in?
Oh,
fam!
You have to talk like that right now,
fam.
I'm like, because Pretty Fly for a white guy just popped in my head, and I'm like, wow. These guys were like heavy when they tried to fit in with our culture, and like Eminem came in and they thought they were down with us. It's like, you're down, but you're not that down.
You code switched. You're not down. You code switched.
You're an entanglement with code switching.
Stop. We should cancel this episode.
Every week I'm coming with something. Y'all know this.
Every week you gotta tie it in.
Leave it in like a hair extension.
Oh my gosh.
Please take away my mic.
So.
Yo, I love the consistency, brother. That's all I gotta say.
Next week I'm muting myself.
It's key.
No, don't mute yourself.
Can't have you muted next week because you know what?
Most people probably just like, I'm gonna kill him.
No, we wouldn't be the Cax without it. That's the whole point of this. We need that. That's the whole vibe.
Yeah, the Perspicax. It would just be the Perspicax.
Because Jason's the Cax. Jason's the Cax.
Yo, I don't. What?
Yo, what you say like that, yo?
If you're still listening at this time, can't help.
When what's wrong with you? If you're still listening at this point, there's something wrong with you.
No, there's not. We want you still listening, but if you feel for me, I'm gonna set up a WhatsApp, a GoFundMe, a OnlyFans. Send me money.
So you see, it's at that moment where we tell you guys to get ready to tune in next week.
Right? But if you guys are still tuned in, just know we're not putting on a show. Like, this is regular vibes. Like, this is just natural, pure energy right now. And that's why, like, yo, I love that we came together and made this happen still. Like, every week I'm just loving the growth and the energy level, man. When I get off this, I'm just so amped to get next week started. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he does not.
Definition of a hard worker.
Hey, I'm not trying to work when I'm 60, brother. So we gotta keep it moving, keep our hands wet, and
keep listening, share our podcast Spread it. Subscribe on Zoogle. Wow.
Yes.
On
Zupa.
subscribe
Zoogle.
on
Zaga now.
YouTube or
Zaga now.
No.
Zoogle. Zoogle.
Zaga.
This is Jason Warbucks.
This is Shenny.
This is your boy Steven, and you're now tuned into
The Perspicax.